Hey everybody, I'm author R.G. Long, and I'm here to share some epic writing tips with you today. And today, we want to talk about characters, right? So, characters are huge. Now, obviously not these characters, they're rather small, but characters in a book are a big deal. You really want to make sure that the characters that you write and the people who you explore are not only interesting, but memorable and unique. Now, I'm not saying unique as in like they've never been a character like this before. When I say unique, I want to say that they are different from the other characters that you are writing. Because here's the deal. If your characters aren't great, like if they're just okay, like they don't really seem like there's a lot of depth to them, it doesn't seem like they're really like distinct, or if like two side characters are really just like exactly the same and it's hard for readers to tell them apart, readers are absolutely going to complain. Now, hear this from a guy who has books with negative reviews. Readers are going to complain. You cannot, as an author, please everyone. There's not a way in the world to do it. So, what you can do is at least be sure that you gave readers the best possible characters that you could, and if they didn't like them, maybe it's because they couldn't connect with them, not because you as an author didn't really try to deliver great characters. And so, I want to give you 2 character tips. You can do a ton of research on this. You can find out that there is so much that is out there, like for what you could possibly do for your characters. And I'll touch on just like a few extra things at the end. But if you do these 2 things and you do them consistently, you will at least be able to know that your readers will be able to tell your characters apart, and that your characters will be distinct when you write them. In fact, knowing who your characters are might actually help you write better scenes and stories because you know what your characters are going to do based on these 2 tips. So the tip number 1, make sure you give your character a physical trait. Now, you might be thinking like, duh, Ronald, I'm going to like explain my character. Like, I got it. You might have a picture of your character. That's something I do, is like I go and find pictures of who I want the characters to be, and like I look at them and say, okay, this is my main character for my story right here. I find it incredibly helpful for me to know. But what I'm saying is give them a physical trait that keeps coming up. Like in this example here, you have a very tall guy and a very short person. All right, so if your character is extremely tall, that might be something you can mention. If they're trying to get through a doorway and all the rest of your characters walk through a doorway, it would be great if your tallest character, you say that they duck their head to get under the door. It's such a small thing, but it will be reminding your readers, oh right, that character's really tall. Or if you're in a crowd of people and you're trying to see what's going on, and you can say, hey, what do you see? And this character who is like 6.5 feet tall or what have you, can say, well, I can see yada, yada, yada. Like, it's really great if you have a character who you can say, okay, no, this character's tall, and they're always tall, and what they're always doing is being tall. And so they have to duck under doorways, they can see over crowds, they have a hard time fitting in small spaces. Like, that kind of helps you write the scene because you know what this character is doing. Or if you have another character who's just fascinated by their own hair. Like maybe they have extremely long hair and they're always braiding it or fiddling with it, or in a chase scene getting caught by it. You see what I'm saying? So if you give your characters physical traits and then try to remind yourself that those traits have an effect on the story around you, your readers will be able to say, oh, that's this person, they have long hair. Oh, that's this person, they're super tall. Again, it doesn't have to be anything wildly special or unique, but if you can remind yourself, oh, this character, can't see. They need their glasses in order to see. Like me, I'm blind. because you've given them this physical trait, you can write the scenes that with that character more easily. Because you know, okay, they're really broad-shouldered. They have to turn sideways to walk through a door. And so this will give you some meat to your characters so that you can write them uniquely. And then something else that's really, really helpful is to give your characters unique character traits. And I want to say give them 2. Right? Obviously, people are more than 2 character traits. However, if you as an author can really, really get down that this character that you're writing has these 2 traits, you'll be able to write how they react to things happening around them so much easier. Like, for example, if you have a character who is extremely kind, right? And you're writing the story and you see a beggar on the road. If you mention this beggar, you might just normally walk past them, but you remember, oh wait, this character's really kind. What if they sat down and have a conversation with them real quick? Or they give half of the party's money to this beggar, and that causes a big argument and all this stuff. You've just allowed your character to express themselves with their character trait, and even maybe moving your plot forward. Turns out this beggar knows information about where they're trying to go, and because they were kind and stopped to talk to them, boom, you've got the information that you need. Super helpful. And then maybe this character who's extremely kind is also very scatterbrained. They have no idea what's all going on. And even though they're super kind and very helpful, it's frustrating for your characters because they seem to never be paying attention or are always off doing something else rather than what needs to be happening or what the party believes needs to be happening at the given moment. So you've just made a character then who is perhaps super tall, extremely kind, but very scatterbrained. You now have a character who you can write into scenes so much easier because you've put a little bit of meat onto them. See, a lot of authors get stuck up on trying to make a character and know all of their history and their family tree and where they came from and what things like this. That's good. You can know that, but it doesn't necessarily help you write the scene. It doesn't necessarily help you drive the story forward. So you can do those things. Maybe you know your character's ancestry. Maybe you know the character's driving motivation in things and why they're taking part on this particular quest, and you have a feeling about what they're trying to accomplish down the road. That's great. But writing the scene in the moment, if you're able to give your characters one physical trait that reminds the readers of who they are, what they look like, and how they are interacting with the space around them, as well as 2 defining character traits, that will really, really help you as an author write the scene, and it'll also really help your readers understand, oh, of course they would do that. They are kind, right? And even maybe perhaps this character who's scatterbrained can, in the exact moment that they need to, focus, get the attention down, and have a little bit of growth happen. And instead of being scattered, they are the ones who paid attention to the tip they needed to hear. And the party can look at them and be like, that was really cool. You remembered the thing. It can be a moment of celebration, of character growth and development. Boom. Hey, I'm author RG Long. I'm not the best at this, but these are some tips that I use in my own personal writing so that I can be a better author. If you've got some other better tips and greater tips, please put them down below in the comments. I would absolutely love to hear about what you have to say, and maybe you can make my writing better. And if you want to read my writing, that's also in the description of the video. Some great books for you to read, some epic fantasy series. Would love for you to check them out. And until the next time, I'm author RG Long. Enjoy the journey.